Hey y'all, hey! Oh my goodness, look at my hair. It's like it's doing the whole thing. I'm gonna cut this out of the video. I'm gonna play this back, and this part is not gonna be here. It's actually not bad, but it looks weird. It's the glare. It's the glare, y'all. I promise I'm not Gumby. But hello, friends. Welcome to another live. So today, um, I was just having the darndest time. So this is my second time going live on YouTube. So welcome back, Dr. Alessandra. Hey, Jamia. Hey, welcome to my second live on YouTube. I do not have a soundboard, so I don't have like any applause and anything like that. So normally I go live in the mornings. And what I say normally, what's happened in the past is I've been going live in the mornings on TikTok. Thank you so much. Thank you, Alice, Dr. Alessandra. So I've been going live on TikTok and they have all the sound effects and everything like that. I do not have those things here. So it is incumbent upon me to get a soundboard so that we can do that. But I think last week went really well. We talked about plants, which y'all know is always, oh, you did miss me. I missed you this morning. You missed me. I missed you because I literally was thinking about that. I was like, oh, I wonder where Jamia is. We all have life. So I guess you can't beat with me all the time. And see, here's where I would insert a laugh track if I had one. But I don't have one. So we're just going to talk it up. I, this week, have been talking about boundaries on my TikTok. And so every post I've made has been in that boundary vein, but it has also been in the gardening and plant vein because literally my thing is plants, peace, mental health. Plants, peace, mental health. Plants, peace, mental health. That's 100% the vibe that I'm on. And so that's always what I am sharing. And so uh I have some line steppers. That's what I would call the people. I would call them some line steppers. And so, you put the line out. Like this is the line. Do not cross this line, people. And then there's always gonna be that one person's like, this is the line, don't cross the line. It's always gonna be that person's like, but how far? If I didn't cross the line, what if I just stand on the line? See? And then they want to test you. And for me, it very rarely is like friends because most of my friends, we've been friends for like a really long time, like years. Um, it be family. It be family. Family always knows how to push the buttons. Like I feel like uh they see the button and then you're like telling it's like all the red lines. It's like put big X. Do not push the button. And you know what family's gonna do? They gonna push the button. Well, what happens if I just push the button? And so that's why this week I've been focused on boundaries and setting healthy boundaries. And so I just kind of was talking about that, but I'm so glad. So the one thing that I really like about TikTok, and one of the reasons why I wanted to go live here on YouTube is because we're able to have a discussion, right? Like I can talk to you and you can talk to me and we can figure it out together. So I can share my opinion and then I can also have your opinion. I think down the line, I'm imagining next iteration of this to have like the big screens, like I see a lot of the hosts on YouTube have that they have the big screens in front of them. They're just talking, they're interacting with you in real time. So I love that. So yeah, I definitely want us to interact in real time. But tell me what's going on. Hey, Dr. Alessandra, I'm so happy to see you here. So Jamia, Dr. Alessandra is actually the doctor who led our sound bath for us. So if you were able to attend the sound bath or if you watched it here on YouTube, because I did upload it afterward, this is the person who led us through the sound bath. And so um, once I guess I get a little further along, then I can have like maybe I have like a panel, and then we can have like real discussion about whatever it is we're talking about. Right now, y'all just give me yay. Yay. So I can try to go through some of the things that I had written down. And so I'm just scrolling through the phone to find those things for you guys on what we were really talking about. And, you know, I invite you to, interact um, and share, right? Because it's not a movie, y'all. It ain't a movie, y'all. Y'all know, like Jay Z said, it ain't a movie, y'all. Okay, it's just me. That's just me. Maybe it ain't a movie, y'all. Okay. So I just wanted to go through some of the boundary things. So today, what I was talking about in terms of boundaries was cold stratification. So if gardeners, some things do really well in environments here that don't do well in a more southern climate, because here they get that period of cold stratification. So, like for me, I really enjoy planting bulbs, things like daffodils and um, tulips. Daffodils, tulips. I think you can do peonies here. I think those will do well in a more southern climate, but they do well here in the cold. Peaches. So I grow a peach tree here, and they can grow in more southern climates depending on the variety. But there are some things like a blueberry bush that appreciate a cooler environment. They need that period of cold stratification. So a lot of them might need a period of, let's say 13 weeks of degrees below of weather below 40 degrees, so that they will be a beautiful, so they can set beautiful blooms, so they can set healthier fruits. So they need that cold stratification period. And so how I was discussing that with regard to boundaries, because I circled it back, right? I circled it back because I think that, and y'all can tell me your opinion, but I feel that um, what we want to do when people are habitual line steppers, a lot of times, is we just go cut them off. I had it with you. You don't have to cut the person off. This might be a relationship that requires some distance, right? So think about when that cold stratification period, like, okay, we got to chill, right? You need a chill period. You need a chill period. Get it? Like a little punny. It's a little punny, but you need a chill period. Thank you. Thank you for the likes. So you might need that. I'm sorry, y'all. Dante is right here beside me. And if ever there was a time that we have to get all of the toys out of the box, it is when I am on live. That's just to put that out there. So that's what's going on. If you hear things bumping and banging, it is my little dog. Hey, Aaliyah, thank you for joining me on my YouTube live. I'm so excited to see my TikTok family here, y'all. So, um, back to cold stratification and boundaries, right? So, what I was saying is that you really want to look at a chill period, right? So, the same way that these plants and bulbs might need a chill period, that might be what you need with some people. Like some people, you have a better relationship if you have 13 weeks apart. I mean, I just got to put it out there now. I have some people, maybe you need 13 hours of distance. So when y'all come together, it's all fun and games. And then it was lovely. I had a wonderful time. And now we're going to have that cold stratification period, right? We're going to have that little bit of break, a little chill period, and then we can come back together and we can grow and be in a good place. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Some of my relationships I value a lot, but I know part of the reason that relationship works so well is because We're not together all the time. If we were together all the time, yes, thank you, Aaliyah. Yes, sometimes that space is needed. See, Dr. Alessandra, here you are on the Neff Pup. This little guy today has been on one. I have to tell you, he has been on one today. And now I apologize, is hitting me with a bone. So, yes, but yeah, sometimes space is needed, but that doesn't mean we can't come together again, right? That just means we need a little bit of space. Listen, so we can get together again. That is your sweet boy. I'm gonna drop him off at your house. And I know your little guy is not going to have any of that. And my friend Janine came over today and she brought her little French bulldog, David Yerman. That's his name. David Yerman can come over. Her girl dog is not allowed here. That little dog is way like she be ready, nuck if you buck, right? She just wants to fight my poor little doggy and she just runs him ragged. Yes, Dante, yes. Octavius, yeah. So she brought her little dog, David Yerman, over, and Dante was such a spoiled brat. I mean, so I think David Yerman is like a cool little dog, and he wants ear scratches, and then other than that, he's like generally cool. But when I tell you, my little dog was very much feeling the only child of it all. He was asking for the chill period and all the separation because David Yerman's like, Dante's got toys spread all over the floor. David Yerman was like, oh, I'm just gonna go pick up a toy, and Dante growled at him and took the toy away and ran off. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe he's acting like this. My baby he's like a little spoiled brat. The David Yerman was like, oh, I would like to put the jump in your lap and get a little ear scratch. And I'm like, oh, that's so sweet, David Yerman. Dante said, absolutely not, David. Listen, he is very used to being the only one. Dante said, absolutely not, David Yerman. I am not having this. I am also going to jump up here and nudge your little head away. I need cuddles. I can't believe this is happening. I just couldn't believe it was happening. I was like, I didn't know my dog was gonna act like this. He was. You listen. So, David, poor little David Yerman, he was so sweet. Dante was a whole menace today, and is still extremely cute. He was still extremely cute, but a whole menace, y'all. So, but yeah, so in terms of a chill period, Dante is needed several chill periods today. I was like, I'm going to make you go to the KENNEL. Stop harassing this dog. And he wasn't really harassing him. It was just like if Dante had a toy, David was not allowed to touch his toy. David Yerman could not touch his toy. David Yerman could not touch his food. David Yerman cannot drink out of his bowl, so I had to set up a separate little bowl for David Yerman. Plus, David Yerman's a French bulldog, so he got the little pushed-in face. Y'all, it was a whole ordeal. And yet here we made it. And yet here we made it. So, back to healthy boundaries. And y'all can tell me what y'all think about it because for me, I am 100% on my gardening thing. And so talking about plants and gardening always. But I find so many references to life in my garden. And so those are things that I feel comfortable sharing. I feel comfortable sharing like things that I found to be true. Like I just see these things mirrored out in the garden. And it's like maybe I knew that was the case. But for some reason, when I look at life and how things are going and how I am interacting, I am a lot more able to see that in terms of things that I'm looking at. That's it, Dr. Alessandra. Nature does speak. And so Like I recently had to move some of the things. If some of you were on the lives with me when I had to move the cushions that were blocking my watermelon plants. So just for reference, if anyone doesn't know, I have two watermelon plants now. One upstairs, which is a petite yellow watermelon, that's the variety, and the other is a crimson sweet. And so I had put out a vote on TikTok. I was like, I want to snip this crimson sweet. I was not expecting this to come up. I thought that it didn't take. And so now I have two plants here. I'll just snip this one. And everybody's like, no, let's see if we can save it, if we can put it somewhere else. And now I've got two watermelon plants. So I put the crimson sweet watermelon plant downstairs. And while the plant upstairs has started putting out flowers and looking very beautiful and healthy. No, no, Dante. Apologies, y'all. He's like pulling on cords. We gotta figure something out. Anywho, so while the petite yellow plant upstairs was doing perfectly fine and putting out flowers and such, the crimson sweet was not. And that's because it wasn't getting enough light. So what I had to do, I could have moved the plant, and so I thought about that. But what I decided to do was move the cushions that were blocking the sun. They were in the way. And so once I moved those, it took a couple of days, maybe a week. My crimson sweet watermelon, though it was healthy, right? It was healthy, it was green, and it started to vine out. It didn't have any flowers on it. The plant was not living in its true purpose. So while it's a beautiful green plant, while it was vining and quite lovely, the expectation from this crimson sweet is a crimson sweet watermelon. And so it was not able to generate that because these cushions were blocking its light. I felt that from there, I could see so many parallels to life in terms of places where we are not in our true purpose. We are not thriving in the way that we should because something, listen, that is a whole word because what did you just say? Nature speaks. We are not living in our true purpose because we're allowing our light to be blocked. Something is shading us. We are making ourselves small or staying quiet and or we're holding our tongue. We're not thriving because something is blocking our light or we're allowing something or someone to block our light. And that's where I come back to healthy boundaries, right? My plant was listen, I'm not trying to make you cry, Jamia, but this was like I could see so many places in my life where I'm playing myself small, right? I'm being quiet. I'm being less than. I am diminishing myself for something else to thrive. Did the cushions, they sit there on the sofa, right? You could sit there. I could move these cushions out the way so that this plant could thrive, so that it could live according to its purpose. Its purpose is to produce watermelons. And I was not allowing it to shine. I was not allowing the sun shine on it so that it could be in its purpose. And so that's one of the other things that was my content for that day. And I don't know if people necessarily understood what I was saying, but letting things block your light so you're not being in your purpose. And I don't know if you've had times that you've done that. I definitely can see times in my life where I've played myself small. I allowed myself to stay in the background, right? I allowed myself to stay in the background and stay quiet and be less than what I should have been. So to keep the peace, to make this other person happy, to keep this situation on what I thought was going to be a level playing field. But I'm then not thriving. So you've done it too? Yeah, I can tell you, I can see, oh, especially in terms of my friendships, because I always felt like, well, I'll just be in the background. I'll just play the support role. And there's nothing wrong with being a supporter, right? I feel like I'm still a supporter. But should you, in some of these situations, are you being a supporter when you're supposed to be leading? Are you staying quiet in the moment that you were supposed to speak up because God put a word in there? And I know everybody don't believe in God, but I don't care because I do. Are you allowing yourself to stay silent in a moment that a word was there, that you should be speaking up, that you should be sharing, that you should be standing up and be out front? You're staying in the background to make somebody else happy. Okay, the bone is back. But you're doing that. You're staying in the background to make someone else happy. And that's ultimately, and how I would relate that, that's ultimately what was happening to my watermelon plant. I put things in front of it. They were blocking it so that it wasn't thriving, so it wasn't living according to its purpose. I moved those things out of the way. A week goes by, we start getting flowers. I go out there, there's a little watermelon growing. It's a tiny little crimson sweet, but they get big. Real talk there. I wish I knew how to highlight these comments on here, but I don't know if I'm able to highlight a comment. So, but this is one I would highlight. Real talk. There are times that I do that now. It takes a level of self-awareness and courage that I can shift out of that. Yes, it is a really applying courage to our lives to say, I'm going to go ahead and step out front where I'm supposed to be. I know for me, because I would tell myself a lot of times, well, maybe when I'm thinner, maybe when my credit score is better. Like, I kid you not, I can make up every excuse for why I shouldn't step out in front. Well, this person's been doing this for 5 years, and I've only been doing it for 3.5. So, I shouldn't say anything because, they've been doing it longer. We have to stop doing that. That's We have to set healthy boundaries even for ourselves. Because in situations like that, is it the other person that's making us play small? Or are we choosing to stay in this place? Are we choosing to stay quiet? Are we choosing to let everyone else shine and we'll be in the background? Yeah. So I think some of those healthy boundaries that we need to be setting are for ourselves. They're for ourselves. Because I I have times, I mean, oh my gosh, just so many things that I would tell myself, well, I can't do that yet. Well, I mean, even with gardening, right? Well, I shouldn't be like going live and telling people about gardening. There's people who've been gardening much longer than I have. I mean, I'll just stay quiet and let them do it. And I can, right? I can totally do that. But just because they've been doing it longer, does that mean I don't have anything to share? Does that mean I don't have another perspective to offer? Think about how we garden and how things have kind of leveled up over time, and that there are still people who put things in the row crops, and this is when they sow, and this is when they reap the harvest. And it goes along that way all the time. And think about how we have these growing towers now. We actually have gardening towers that we can use now. I am your personal gardening expert. Well, thank you very much. I am very happy to be your personal gardening expert. But I know that I am not an expert, that there are people who are much more knowledgeable than I am. And I am happy to say that. You know what? I don't know. Let's look for that answer. Or I can refer you to someone else who does know. They have more information on this that I don't. That's perfectly okay. Just because someone else has been doing it longer, that doesn't mean you shouldn't share. That doesn't mean that you're not ready to share what you have. I would call myself more of a wellness gardener. I am not going to be the super techie, check your pH, the level needs to be at a negative 4.6 or something. I'm just not that person. What I feel though is that I have found peace with gardening. I have found a way to quiet all the noise that's around me. And that is what I'm sharing. I am sharing that peace. If you sent me a plant, a picture of your plant that is withered and brown, or what's wrong with it, I may or may not be able to diagnose that. Now, sometimes you tell me stuff like somebody told me something the other day and they're like, yeah, my plant leaves are curling. Well, let's look at the temperature because that could be one thing. They're kind of, are they curling in on themselves to conserve water? Or is it a nutrition problem like they look like in spirals, right? You glean information from all of the gardening community and try to share what you learn. And that's what we all are. And that's where we are in so many places in life. But I tell you what, just because you're gleaning information from other places doesn't mean that you're not an authority in an area too, that you can help a person, that you can be a support for a person, right? And so that's one of the things that I think is so important for us with these boundaries, because this discussion is about healthy boundaries. Because I got the line steppers, y'all. I got the line steppers, right? So I'm talking about healthy boundaries for them, but healthy boundaries for me too. Because if they keep stepping on lines, when I'm gonna cut that off, right? At some point, you have to say something. It's not enough to be upset every time. Like I like think about how we are. Do y'all remember like on Facebook if people would get on there and they would rant and they would argue, and I'll be like, yeah, what are you gonna do about it? You just gonna be angry on Facebook? If we can rant, we could just share how we're feeling. That's perfectly fine. It's okay to have a feeling about it and to share that. But are you looking for a solution, or are you just angry and you just mad? But what are you going to do about it? If people are making you mad, are you going to allow them to keep making you mad? So here's what's great. You don't have to allow that. The other great thing is I'm going to drink some water, and that is perfectly okay. I can't do that on the TikTok app, but YouTube is wonderful. I can drink water on here with no problem. So that's just one of the things I would like for us to all think about when we're considering boundaries. It's not just that people are doing things, it's not just that they're line steppers. Because if you step on a line that I set, at some point, I should tell you, like, hey, I don't like that. And then if you do it again, then I have to make a decision. I can tell you again, like, hey, I don't like that. And you've done it again. And I can continue to give you chances. I can continue to allow you to do it. And at some point, I just need to say, okay, I'm just going to continue to allow them to do it. And I'm going to be upset about it over and over, or I'm going to stop you. So you're not allowed to eat and drink on on TikTok for the reason that they think it could be anything in there that you're drinking. Like you might be drinking on the app, or you might be having some kind of, I guess, a narcotic substance. I don't know. I'm thinking of the brownies. I mean, I guess you can infuse anything nowadays, right? But I'm thinking that's the reason why, so they can discourage you from eating and drinking on camera. I am doing my walks there now in the evenings. So right before this live, I had finished up my 1 hour walk. And so I'm on TikTok live while I'm doing that. And I'm gonna have to have water, because if I don't, I'm gonna pass out. I'm not gonna make it. But I do still try to like turn my head so I'm not like directly like, oh, I'm drinking the water, you know. But that's what they're discouraging. Yeah, TikTok actually just came out with a lot of new rules, and they're going to be taking effect tomorrow. So, FYI, if you're a live host or you go live, there is no longer, they're not going to allow music to stream on there. So, no, they're avoiding copyright strikes and infringement. If you have music there, they will turn it down or turn it off or remove it. You're not allowed to. So there's some lives where people just play music and they're DJs or whatever. They're going to need to mix that up, scratching, because or else it's just not going to be allowed. So they're putting things in place. And there's going to be major changes there anyway. Towards September, we're going to switch over to the American version of TikTok. So right now it's called M1, and I'm not sure what the M stands for, but the version that's supposed to come later this year is called M2, and that will be an Americanized version, which they're saying you'll still take all your followers and things like that, but it will be a very different environment. So a lot of these changes that are going to be taking place on TikTok are going to take place tomorrow. There's no talking about religion, no medical discussions, I think, no, right. It has been like that on other platforms for some time. They would have to get some level of agreement because I know it's allowed now on Instagram. And so we were talking about it a bit on my live this evening, and it was so funny. And so one person said, "It's all downhill from here. That's the end of TikTok." I was like, well, I don't think it's that dire. I think it'll be fine. Just don't play music on the live. It's not that big a deal. No, music is not that big a deal. And I'm saying that obviously when I go live, I don't play music. So I'm out in the garden or I'm having conversation. There's usually nothing. Part of that is just because of my personality. Too much too much is overstimulation for me. I'm like, oh, they got the music here, they got the music. Okay, somebody jumping up and down. There's a screen playing an image on the background. There's a lot going on. It reminds me of when Erica Badu was in that versus. Do you remember when Erica Badu was in that versus with Jill Scott? And she had kung fu playing on the screen in the background, and somebody was like dancing, and then she was there, and she had the candles, and I was like, oh Lord, I'm feeling a little overstimulated. I can't watch no more. I'm gonna go and shut this down. I'm gonna catch the next verses. It's not gonna be this one. It was just a little bit of overstimulation for me. So I think we'll be perfectly fine. I still think there is a lot of opportunity for people on the app, but you just have to color within the lines, right? Boundaries, right? TikTok is setting boundaries. Now, I think there's going to be some people who are going to be like, well, I mean, but it can't be that bad, so I'm just going to step on this line. There's always going to be a line stepper. There are some people who are habitual line steppers. I don't think I'm going to be one of them. I'm okay with no music. It's very rare that I would actually have any playing, so I think I'll be good. And for you, Dr. Alessandra, I don't think you're playing any copyrighted, like especially when you're doing your chimes and things like that. The Koshi, the Koshi chime that's generating your own sound, and so there's no copyright strikes for that. Yeah. So I think it's possible to color within the lines there. There are times where you need to be a little bit of a line stepper, and then there's times that you don't. That it's perfectly okay to color within the lines, and everything will be fine, right? But in terms of thinking about, if I go back to healthy boundaries, so we talked about that some relationships you don't necessarily have to cut them off, right? You just need a little bit of a chill period. Right. You try to use your Koshi chimes and other instruments as much as possible, which I did have a comment. Someone absolutely loved it. And someone else said, "Oh, this is beautiful." So I did have some feedback on from the YouTube that I played, and because I did not place the playback for it on TikTok. The total length of it is about 37 minutes, and YouTube is an environment where people could enjoy a sound bath. And so I really wanted that. Absolutely. It's situationally dependent. Yes, I actually got really good sound baths. So I did post the video on my page. And so I gave you some of the feedback from the sound bath that one person was telling me that after the sound bath that they heard, they just felt really emotional and they just started crying. And she was saying, I just was crying. And my wife was looking at me and she was like, "Are you okay? Why are you crying?" And so she was explaining to her, she's like, "I don't know." Her wife was like, "Do you need to come off of TikTok? What is going on? Why are you crying like this?" And she's like, "I just feel, I don't know. I'm just feeling all these things." And I was like, "That's wonderful that you received what you were absolutely needing to receive in that environment, right? You got what you needed." And so maybe there were things that she needed to release. And so that was wonderful, wonderful feedback. And so I'm looking forward to the next event. I believe for the next garden event that I would like to have for subscribers is I really would like us to think about breath work. And I think that that could be really helpful with people as you're setting boundaries because I think there's some discomfort that people encounter, right? Like I don't think that there's a thing that we necessarily like. I'm not the nuck if you buck girl, right? I don't want to fight you. I don't want to fight you. I don't want to argue with you. I don't want to raise my voice. I want whatever this is that's bothering me and that you're creating. I just want this to go away. And so a lot of times we just go along with stuff because we just want it to go away. I don't want to fight. Sometimes you have to say something. You can't just let everything just you hoping that it will go away. You have to say something, right? So I understand that setting healthy boundaries can be uncomfortable, right? It can be very uncomfortable because I don't want to cause a problem. I don't want to make people angry. I don't want anybody to get mad at me. But I cannot I cannot make myself unhappy every day just for you to be happy. I cannot live in a space where I am continually upset so that you can experience joy. What part of the game is that? Right? That's not what we want. Yes, definitely it's courage. It's definitely courage. I can't every day just make myself sad and grieve this situation because you're happy, just because you're comfortable. I have a person that I am speaking to right now that they are miserable, not sleeping, eating poorly, not able to get any work done because they're constantly being interrupted because they feel like that's the right thing to do. Well, if I say something, they're just going to get upset. Then they're just going to get upset. You are struggling to live. You are barely hanging on. You are in survival mode. And it is failing you because don't want to make someone else angry. You don't want to rock the boat. I want to rock the boat. Honey, the boat is rocking. You are gasping for air. The boat is rocking. You are drowning. Save yourself. Sometimes you have to say something, even though it's uncomfortable. Sometimes you do. You have to say something. Save yourself. You cannot stay in these situations. You cannot allow yourself to be miserable every day because you don't want this situation to be worse. I was talking to somebody earlier today, and people like, listen, a whole nonsense. It sound like some childish nonsense. Listen, exactly, it's no part of the game. It's no part of the game. Are you kidding me? You are struggling for air. You know, there's a reason, and I know they use this example all the time, but there's a reason they tell you when the plane's going down, you got to make sure you put your own mask first before you help everybody else because you won't survive. You can't serve, you won't even survive long enough to get their mask on if you pass out. Well, I saved them. Did you? Are we better off without you? Or are we better off with you respecting your boundaries? They'll survive. They will be perfectly fine. Yes. We will not be exhausting ourselves. Yes, Aaliyah, we will not be exhausting ourselves just to make someone else happy. Just so we don't rock the boat. Well, I don't want them to be mad at me. I don't want them to think I don't like them or what if they don't like me? What if they don't like you? One of the most powerful things I had Dr. Alessandra, you actually said to me once because I was so upset and I was crying, I was wiping my tears, and she said, "Well, what if you just allowed the tears to fall? What if you did? What if you just stepped out there and you say, you know what, this is not okay with me? What if you just said that?" And it has to be what it is. It is what it is. And we say that a lot of times, but it really would have to be whatever it's going to be at that time. It would just have to be that, right? Because you cannot live like that. You cannot live exhausting yourself to make other people happy. You are trying to grow and thrive, just like my little watermelon plant. You are trying to thrive and you are keeping yourself small because you don't want to upset those people. You don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to make anybody angry. You're not operating in your purpose because you're not setting a healthy boundary to tell these people no. To tell them no, this is not okay with me. Yeah. I thought I needed it. I guess not. No. Are you talking about the music? You thought you needed the music? No, you don't need that. You'll be fine. You are so animated and lovely. You cracked me up. You have to see her on live. She's doing all these expressions. It's lovely. But yeah, I just think about that. Think about where you're putting yourself. But setting healthy boundaries is not really a discussion because we can easily make someone else the enemy, right? We can say that person is the bad guy and they're ruining my boundaries. Did you ever set a boundary with them? For them that are ruining your boundaries, did you ever set a boundary with them? Oh, I got to figure out how I can highlight a comment. I have to figure out how I can highlight a comment. Meanwhile, they are living their best lives. How about that, guys? How about that? You are exhausting yourself. You are losing sleep. You are stressed out. Child, I have been to the place where my hair was out, pulling my hair out. You overeating. You can't sleep. Are you having chest pains? Meanwhile, they are living their best lives. You are exhausting yourself trying to make it all right for someone else, and they are over there eating bonbons or that cheesy popcorn that I love so much that I'm not allowed to have right now. Yes. Unless you are live from StreamYard. But I can still send a heart. Let me see. It's got some emotes on here. Well, let's see. It lets me do that. I can talk to you in the chat. So yeah. Yeah, they're not thinking about you. Exactly. They're not thinking about you. You're over here exhausting yourself and stressing yourself out, trying to make everyone happy, trying to make it just right, just so. Did they ask you to do that? Well, they expect that I'm going to do it. Do they? Did you tell them they shouldn't expect that because you're exhausted? You need to go to sleep. I'm not going to be able to go to this event because I'm tired. Oh, I really wanted you to come. I know. I'm sorry, I'm not going to make it this time. I hope I can make the next one. That doesn't mean I don't like you. If you said that to a person, if you said, I'm so sorry, I'm tired, I have to get some rest, I hope I can make the next one. If you really told someone that and they decided, well, I just cannot be around, is this the person? Is this the relationship you want to maintain? That's a real question. If I'm telling you I'm suffering and you're like, yeah, but this would make me happy, is that really? I'm telling you I'm suffering. You're like, yeah, but it would just make me happy if you did it anyway. I don't care. No is a whole word. I said no. So I would really question if, hey, in terms of I'm trying to set these boundaries and I'm telling you, yeah, I'm telling you setting new boundaries. I'm telling you that this is not okay with me. I need to do this for me. And they're expressing what they need you to do for them. Is this person in your corner? Do they want to see you win? Are they celebrating you? Or are they only celebrating you in relation to how it benefits them? Are they only able to find joy in things that you do because that means that this is something that's good for them? That's where I would say we need to set a boundary. And it's incumbent upon us to do that. We are the person who is responsible to set these boundaries. And of course, I relate my setting my boundaries to gardening because everything I do is by gardening, y'all. But I think about myself and the times that I wasn't operating in my purpose. Just like my little watermelon plant, my plant was still beautiful. It was still green. It was still vining and lush. But there were absolutely no flowers on it, which meant that it was not going to be a watermelon. It was just going to be a beautiful green vine. That is a watermelon plant. Its purpose is to produce watermelons. And if I am removing the light from it so that it can't live in its purpose, I'm the villain there. Don't let people be the villain in your life. Don't be the villain in your own life. Set this boundary. Set this boundary so that you can allow yourself to grow. You can allow yourself to be healthy. You can operate in your purpose. You're not, what is that poem? Oh, that poem where the lady says, you're not playing small is not doing you any favors. It's like Mary something. You're not doing anyone any favors because you continue to be small because you're not operating in your purpose. God put you in a space to do a certain thing and you decided, oh no, I'm just going to stay here in the background. I'm going to let everybody else do it. I don't want to upset those people. There is greater for you. There is greater in you. You just have to walk into it. You have to allow yourself to walk into it. So I hope that that makes a lot of sense for you. It made a lot of sense for me. And please don't feel like I'm just over here like telling folks stuff and not applying it to myself, because I promise you I am. I have gotten to the place where I will say, I don't like that. Please don't do that. Or this situation occurred, and I just want you to know how that made me feel. Let's use our I words. That's what I learned in school. I. When this happened, I felt. Not you did this, you always do this, but when this happened, I felt this. Right? So just about boundaries, just about setting healthy boundaries. But those were two of the garden examples that really stuck out to me in terms of boundaries. There were others, because I definitely put others up. Um, borders. Y'all, I was thinking about my neighbors one day. I was like, well, yes, where they say good fences make good neighbors. Facts. So I think about, I have hostas in my front yard. Now, this is not about my neighbors, this is about the deer. Deer absolutely love hostas. It's like candy. You like those? I love those little mini Snicker bars. Now, the big Snickers, I don't know what it is, but the long Snickers, I just want it chopped into pieces. I can enjoy it better that way. So I usually like the little mini Snickers. Those make me very happy. And so I was thinking about the front yard, and I have hostas planted out there. And so the deer want to eat my hostas, right? Because they're like candy to them, just like my mini Snickers. And the only way to prevent deer from eating your hostas is to put some type of barrier. You have to do something. You have to do something that will block them from wanting to get to it. If you can put up some kind of physical barrier, if you have a fence or something like that, that's great. Or there are sprays that you can go out and you can spray, and maybe that will work, but you have to be committed to your spray regimen then, right? This is how you have to keep you're trying to keep your border up. So if you're going to use a spray regimen, you have to be committed to that spray regimen. So every single time it rains, you have to be ready to go out there and spray it up again so that the deer don't come and eat up your hostas. And that then is the barrier, right? You are putting a border. So you're keeping the animals out, you're keeping the foot traffic out, but maybe, maybe we can you listen. It does, it makes a lot of sense. But when you think about your boundaries now, right? This is where the fence starts. So the deer can't come in there. I set a boundary in place, right? You can do this with other things in your life. I can let you do this up to this point. When you cross here, this is not okay. What kind of boundary do I need to set with the person so that it's okay? How far do we allow them to go? You know what? I know that you like to, I see that you like to park in my driveway. That's not okay, because I don't mind you using the space at this time and this time. These other times, I expect to have guests, so you're not allowed to put your car there, right? That's it seems simple. Or I want to leave this space open at all times. I cannot allow you to park there. I am setting a boundary. We can do that with all types of things in our life. Hey, I noticed that for those of us who are TikTok creators, I noticed that you always want me to be in the box on your live. I don't have time. I can do that every blue moon, but I can't do it all the time. Will that person be mad? I don't know. I don't care. I have to be honest. But if you do care, set that boundary. That is a loving and healthy boundary I can set. I will definitely love to sit in the boxes and chill with you when I have free time. But I be in these TT streets. I be up, down, here and there and everywhere. I'm networking. I'm meeting new friends. I gotta go. I think that's okay. I think that's okay in every relationship. Hey, I notice you like to throw your laundry in the middle of the floor instead of putting it in the hamper. Now I live alone. I can't imagine anybody doing that because that would drive me absolutely nuts. If I put my clothes in the floor, that's okay. No, it's still not okay because I really don't like that, y'all. It's still not okay. But I'm just giving an example. I'm just giving an example because I still would not be okay with it. But let's say, like, you know what? I understand that you don't like putting your laundry in the hamper. Put it in this area so I don't trip over it when I come in. Or I don't like for people to wear shoes in my house. They take them off at the door. Now, I have a little bench that you can put your shoes under. Please don't leave them right in the front door because then I can trip over them, right? I am setting a healthy boundary for myself on how I. And it drives you bat crazy. Got it. Right though? Like I gotta set a boundary. Listen, I understand if you don't want to put it in the hamper. I don't know why you want to put it in the hamper, but it needs to not be in the middle of the floor where I walk through. So here's an area I'm willing to compromise with you. You don't want to put it in the hamper? That's your area right there. This is not the area. This is never the area, right? I walk into my house and I trip over a shoe. I trip over a shoe in my own home. Uh-uh. There's an area here where I expect the shoes to go. See, I'm setting a boundary. I am setting a healthy boundary. It's okay to compromise on that. But I want what I'm getting to, and I am relating all of these to like different things and things in the garden and setting boundaries. There's always going to be things in the garden for me. But what I want us to see is the boundary. Who's setting the boundary? We are. We're setting the boundary. We are in control. We are saying, hey, we are not going to allow this to continue. We are setting the boundary. So I hope what you're taking from that is, hey, it's not just things happening to you, it's you deciding for yourself. Right? So I, on the live last week, went for 2 full hours because what I'm going to tell y'all about me is I am Southern and chatty. Child, I can talk. But I'm not going to do that to y'all this time. This is not going to be a 2 hour live. This is just 1 hour. And I think as time goes on, if we needed to extend time, we definitely could. But we're just here for an hour today. Also, 2 hours in keeping my dog from not having full flip out moments and getting into the squeak toys was its own level of patience. I don't I'm like if you go back and you look at it, you can kind of see me moving around or like so I can stick my leg out so I can like how can I pull this toy in toward me so he will stop? squeaking the toy. So we're not doing that. I hope that this discussion on boundaries, I really appreciate y'all being here and having this discussion with me. And I hope we can continue to find like interesting topics to talk about. I mean, the whole goal is just to build community here in the same way that I've been able to find that on TikTok. Right. Both are decisions, choices. Saying something is a choice, not saying something is also a choice. Either or may be hard, but it is still a choice. You are making a choice. Excellent. Thank you so much, Dr. Alessandra. I'm glad you thought this was an excellent conversation. I did too. And thank y'all for being here and participating in the conversation and for rocking with me. This was awesome. So I am going to be here at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time every Thursday, and we just get into the topics and we'll see. And hopefully, I'll be able to expand this so then I will be able to do the StreamYard that Jamia was talking about so we can kind of pull other people in. But y'all are awesome. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for participating. I'll be back Thursday, 6:30 Eastern Time on YouTube next week with the new topic. And I will post that new topic every Monday. I'll post what the topic will be. And so I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Thank you. Thank you for rocking with me. I will see you next week. Bye, guys.